March 3rd, 2026, and it's about 2:30 in the afternoon. On the this morning at 6 a.m., the total lunar eclipse, the red moon, and it's meditations on a year of high consequence number 11. 11 to me is a magical number. People that know my creation myth vision know and understand why. Why did I bring that up? Oh man, things are validating. I'm not saying that particular myth, but other things. 11 comes up a lot, and it came up today as my housemate was trying to take photos of the moon. She caught something on camera, which to me is kind of my own personal disclosure. I have to admit it, and maybe 5 people are checking this out. My friends, well, you should PM me about how that actually works, but I'll post the photograph to Facebook. People checking this out on YouTube that may want to get into it further have to PM me. So it feels like I have like total confirmation in my visioning, and what I want to say is, let's just react to what's going on. We're in the 4th day of Iran, United States, Israeli, and a lot of the rest of the Arab world's getting pulled into it, and seems like craziness. And it is, but it's a little bit like, to me, in some ways, I don't want to get on either side of all the different controversies, and we're only 4 days into it, and there's already, I think, a lot of misrepresentation of what's going on. I just want to say it's tension that needed to be released, and we'll see where this goes. In any case, we got to count on the leaders to be responsible and try to hold the kind of stability while different changes come up from the ground as all of us engage our own higher selves in pragmatic and practical ways, because the what I see is happening here in terms of all the prophecies and also the energies I'm feeling, and now that I feel like I've been validated by I'm gonna say Beyond Galactic Federation. That was a thumbs up from Nth with an N-T-H, dimensional higher mind, saying, Mikey, you're on track. Hang in there. And whether or not that's true, I'm reading it that way, and I've got a lot of interesting healing type energy flowing through me, which I think is where we're all meant to go. And in the next handful of years, bring it to practical levels in how we do business and how we eat and how we take care of our health. The Maha movement is so on track. The fact that we had to take the wild card of Trump along with it, I think, is turning out to be karmically perfect, because it's showing everybody's worst fears, slamming them in their face. Oh my God! And now there's nothing to do but just break right through it. China, bull in a China style, and see, the right wing has a thing called faith, and the left wing has a thing called try to be responsible. Yikes! And it's somewhere in between, All of this is to the high ground of synthesis of the high ground. And you get over responsible, and you get all these committees taking 20 years to tell us, I think probably we should go back to community if we want any of this to make sense, and maybe stop overusing all our resources. I'm going to say, duh! Jeez. Stone hippies could have told you that 50-something years ago. And we're in the year of the fire horse, which happens lots of decades. Last one was in 1967, and that was the Summer of Love, where forces building up from the beatnik and all the abundance of the United States, which was letting people sort of discover themselves. And in San Francisco, LSD was legal. It was legal all over, but that's where they were picking up on it. And the really, really good stuff, which I've tried once, somebody said I earned it and pulled it out of a refrigerated vault. Someone who was mentioned in the electric Kool-Aid acid test when I went out to Santa Fe, impressed them with my young fledgling hippie credentials. Said, Mike, maybe I think you earned one of these. And it was just exactly pretty much the same energy that I arrived at when I did a week's long of fasting which coincided with not needing any sleep. Really, I did not need sleep. It was not a question of insomnia and restlessness. I was super peaceful the way I'm feeling now. A kind of a quiet, but it's got a buzz to it. It's a little bit like ringing in your ears, but it's not annoying like ringing in your ears. It's just got a subliminal, tiny, vibrational presence, and otherwise a stillness. And I recognize this as being in tune with spirit or higher intuition. And we're coming to a place where the prophecies are coming true. But you know who's really on time on a daily basis? Astrology. I'm impressed. And that actually dovetails with a lot of the biblical prophecies, even though the biblical prophecies just takes the last couple thousand years, foreshortens it and simplifies it, because otherwise it would be too complex for regular people working too hard, not having enough time to really meditate, and having to take things on faith and understanding with their hearts that there's got to be a higher meaning to it all. But they don't have the time to do the discipline that it takes to really connect with your higher self, spirit wise, within, which means just eliminating a lot of distractions in the material plane till you connect with that. But it doesn't mean putting the material plane in a second category of it's the material plane is the fruit of spirit, and it's complicated because it's so fine-tuned, detailed. You have exquisite livingness and artistic expression all the way down to the subatomic, but the various forms of life as it's coming out. And we have this amazing confluence of material world understanding in science, minute, hard-nosed material understanding. And at the same time, we have all these spirit schools putting up their best information, their best wisdoms. And I want to tell you, astrology's calling it that all these things are coming together. The Aquarius prophecy says a lot of things about the age of Aquarius, how cool that's going to be, different ways, all this and that. But one of the things it says that is, it's not really advertised so much, but I know that it's part of it, is that it's meant to be full disclosure to everyone about everything so they understand their situation and they understand the situation. This is why I say it dovetails with the Jehovah heaven on earth thing and the judgment day thing. Once you understand the situation, you're in a good place to judge yourself. And we're coming to a place, see where all these things come together. Evolution from what I've been calling the materialite side is real. Because the material world is real, but it doesn't mean spirit's not real. As I say, it's the fruit of spirit. And it's alive. The whole material plane is alive, but it's alive to different degrees. And what that actually means, well, we're finding out, right? By becoming ourselves as much as possible. But we also have these elders. It's a thing about equality of there's a thing called elders. That's where some of the natural classes happen. I want to say you want to get too ideological. I'm going over to politics for a minute and economics. You want to get too ideological about classes, and you're like running roughshod over the natural kind of elders and different people in the guilds. You have the masters, and it turns out there's kind of a Jehovah energy to the. I'll say kind of, to not get into all that right now, but the Jehovah prophecy says there's there's an intentionality. Intentionality is masculine. I don't need to say masculine intentionality. Masculine femininity would be really focused appreciation. It's not lesser. It's two parts of the same thing. You need both energies to do anything. You need to pull in the energy first. That's feminine. And then you focus it and push it. That's masculine. Understanding is kind of feminine. Trying to think about your own original thoughts is kind of masculine. All right, you guys, cut it out. Now, is there a real personality behind this? I've seen it envisioned that yes. And it allows for it to come out of the one mind. And it doesn't get into the details so that Jehovah's in a position to tell Christians and Israelites and everyone that he's trying to demonstrate he's for real. Everybody calm down. We're entering these really crazy times. And Jehovah's message is it's going to be okay. But that some people that got that message took it a little far, like it's going to be okay no matter what you do. Well, that's true too. But you don't have to go as far as like, you don't have to do anything, just watch. No, it's going to be okay because we're all going to be motivated to do the right thing. And Jehovah sees a lot of good energies coming in from all different sides. Now, enough with that particular view, the Jehovite. The Buddhite one is the one that lets people connect to the one source, one mind energy of beingness, presence that is the everything. And I say it happens once. The multiverse is odd to me. And in my visioning, you can see how it happens from an awakening of the potentiality of presence into a more of an experientially felt and consciously so, but very minutely, primally. Or, the same thing. It's an involution of energy that becomes a three-sided paradox and then becomes a solid spot in otherwise a dualistic energy that doesn't quite pull together. It's the act of being there-ness that pulls it together into the three-sided paradox. And that threeness fractals all over the place. As above, so below. We have a current lack of the third synthesis side, but a left versus right, and the third side in the meta context is the materialite, the Buddhite, and the Jehovite, and they're distinct to the extent the materialite says, focus on the real world. You don't have to believe it's sacred. Do it because it's going to smack you in the face. The other two sides, every side is kind of disdainful of the other one. But if you pull them all together, the Buddhite side says the presence of the cosmos is based on the presence of presence. Okay, I got a little abstract. But we do have a connection to our higher soul. And science is coming around to actually proving that in the physical world through some of the quantum paradoxes, the inconsistencies. Entanglement is the main one. Because if you think about entanglement and you can prove we all came from one spot at the Big Bang, then we're all entangled completely in ways that are impossible to imagine and possibly come back at you as fine-tuned karma as it plays out. Now, at the same time, is it possible that as this comes into being, or even how it came into being, is that there was an actual feminine being, even in the primal form, and a masculine being among a bunch of masculine beings that came up second, because that's first you got to absorb the energy, then you start focusing. And among those, there was a Jehovah. And he got into Sophia's space, and that's the Big Bang that gives you the motivation and the possible energy of which is infinity to the infinitieth, because each one of us are infinite souls. And somehow that is what created the Big Bang in my visioning. But the point is now you have a Jehovah character who embodies intentionality, masculine intentionality, but focused intentionality. And we're at that place where even if you don't believe in that, it's focused intentionality that's doing everything that's happening to the planet in terms of global economy and all the different crazy politics, and everybody trying to hold their own ground. It's like, I'm the master of my little kingdom and everything like that. And can we make that work in the context of 8 billion? Might as well be infinity standing up. Abstractly, can we make everyone has their little kingdom in the context of we're also working together gracefully and nobody gets trod upon? And what we're saying is it takes a while evolutionarily to get to that place, and we're still working it. And that's why the United States needs to protect its boundaries and take all of its resources and push past just making it, push to the new version of industrialization that's really not going to make slaves out of us, which means intelligent use of automation perhaps, but still we want to get pulled way back from all this overproduction that all of this industrialization has kind of invoked. We can get it back to much more intelligent use, which is based on the context of communities of purpose and meaning and grounded resource, having a budget for what they really need, and in the context of its co-op owner members are also being really real about what they want and what they really need and what is it that they actually have to do. And so it's possible in these new contexts in business, we could retrofit different businesses that are current to that or start new ones, take all these all these people that are out of work and they say, what do we do, man? What kind of resources can we muster, and start working on projects, and you go towards grounding resources with a flex amount of jobs. But in the context of you can open up all the education to self-education with the right coaches, and that's already happening. Jordan Peterson's a lot of the homeschooling thing. We got 3 years of the right-wing economy running full tilt. Fire horse, you're the fire horse. We do that with gusto and with a focus on not each of us getting rich, because we have to understand that that's what's bringing us down. It's not point to the rich. It's incentivized that there would be an elite when you start with none of us actually working together in a coherent context outside of cultural, social. And so to bring that back, you understand the elites are part of everything and they want to be part of something wholesome also, even though for the moment, uh, they're seeing it as everyone else is seeing it, that this can't last and they have to find a bunker or something. But once they understand how this could work out, they'll be working with us. And I don't want to hear about venture capitalists. They're all evil-minded people only trying to make money for themselves. I don't want to hear about it. We're all human and we're all trying to do the best we can. And that's what it means to bring it back to the oneness that we all are for real.